Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm walking you through two standout features from OpenAI Dev Day 2025. Number one is the agent builder. Number two is the apps lives inside the ChatGPT. I'll start with the agent builder and how it works end to end. Then I'll show you how it feels to use these third-party apps inside the ChatGPT. We'll get hands-on agent builder, we'll export the UI and build end-to-end agent workflow and see how publishing and deployment works. And then we'll switch to ChatGPT and try to use Coursera, Zillow and Spotify and see how it feels to use these apps inside the ChatGPT. All right, let's jump in. All right, so let's start with the announcement page. So like I said, it visually assemble, debug, and export multi-step agent workflows from the playground. So if you already played with na10 and make.com, it's similar to that. So it provides the visual canvas for building multi-step agent workflows. So these are the three main building blocks of building and deploying the agent. So you can design the workflow in the agent builder, and then you can publish your workflow using the versioning system, and then you can deploy your workflow inside your application, or also you can download the code and then customize it however you want to and deploy wherever you want to. They released something called ChatGPT as part of yesterday's dev day. So it enables developers to deploy the agents inside the ChatGPT and then use that workflow within your application. For example, if you have a restaurant, you can develop a multi-step workflow inside this agent builder and deploy it inside the ChatGPT and integrate it to your application very easily. It comes with something called nodes. You can imagine nodes as building blocks of agents, right? It already comes with different types of nodes. We'll see them in a bit. So Agent Builder provides the templates for common workflows. So basically you can choose the one which fits for your use case and customize it and build on top of it. We will look at all the available nodes in a bit. Another thing is you can also preview and debug your workflow within the agent builder itself. This is a very cool feature because you don't need to go out of this platform to preview or debug your workflow. And it also comes with lots of pre-existing guardrails. And the cool thing is each and every guardrail is monitored by the LLM itself. We'll see how that works in a bit. And you can also evaluate how your workflow is performing within the agent builder itself. And like I mentioned, agent builder also provide an option to publish and deploy the workflow in your product. So they are providing two major options. You can deploy it using the ChatGPT, which is like easier integration. And then they also providing the advanced option where you can download the agent's SDK code. So basically you can download all the code, customize it and deploy it wherever you want. Let's see how this works in action. All right. So Agent Builder lives in platform.openai.com. So it doesn't come with your ChatGPT subscription. So here is the homepage, pretty simple. Here you will see all your previous workflows and then you can create your own workflow. So it already comes with a start node and agent node. Start node is how your workflow needs to start. Here it says simple input as text. You can also add different state variables, string, number, boolean, object, and list. The agent node comes with different options, right? You can rename this agent whatever you want to, something like assistant, and then you can define the instructions of this agent, basically what it needs to do. Define the reasoning effort. So if you put reasoning effort low, it's basically think less and consume less tokens, but it depends upon what you're doing, right? You can also give access to different tools like MCP servers, file search, web search, and you can implement your own tools and give access to the agent. Also, you can define the output format, how agent needs to respond. The options are text, JSON, and widget. Widget is something cool. You can define your customized widget and upload it here. So whenever agent responds, it renders a response within the widget. So user sees an appealing output whenever they're interacting with the workflow. Let's look at the different kinds of nodes it already comes with. We just looked at agent node and there is an end node. End node is basically like when the workflow will end, right? And then it comes with different kinds of sticky nodes. For example, you can come here, say something like input. But yeah, option drag doesn't work here. So you need to create new node every time you want to add nodes to the workflow. And let's look at file search. File search is basically a vector store where you can upload the documents. Basically, you can come here, upload whatever the documents, and then copy the vector store ID and then paste it here. What you're doing here, it's kind of a RAG system. If you want to update, add more data, you can just go to that vector store, update it. Agent will automatically picks up the new data. So that is the file search. And then another interesting thing is the guardrail. Basically, when users started working with an agent or when the agent is responding, you can check for different kinds of information. Is there any personal identifiable information? Do we need to moderate anything? It already comes with different guardrail options. You can enable it and disable it here. So MCP is Model Context Protocol, where you can connect all the external apps to your workflow. So it already comes with Gmail, Google Calendar, and all that stuff. All you need to do is authenticate it with your credentials. And then they're also providing some third-party servers. I believe this list will grow drastically in coming months. Not only that, you can create your own MCP server and connect it here. There are different nodes for if else. Basically, if else node is like if the condition is true, do this, condition is false, do that. There is a node for while and it's basically a loop. For example, do the same thing until certain condition is met. And there is also a node for user approval. So user approval is important where a human in the loop needed, right? Example, if you want to restrict the agent to use some kind of a tool and you want to only use it in some scenarios, you can come here and then approve or reject that access. So the workflow will pass here and it will only resume when someone comes here, approve or reject the request. And there are a few other nodes for transform. Transform is basically like transform your data in whatever form you want to pass it to your next node. And set state is basically to change the state of some variable in the middle of the workflow. And you can use it in different scenarios. I'm just giving you an example. You can evaluate the workflow. You can get the code. Like I said, it's built on top of Agents SDK and Response API. You can copy this code and customize it and deploy it wherever you want to. And they're also providing an option to integrate your app through ChatKit. So you can copy this workflow and add the domain, deploy the workflow inside your. But yeah, enough said. Let's see how it performs in action. So I was experimenting with one of the workflows called Business Eval. So this is my business eval workflow. Of course, this is an example workflow I built while exploring the agent builder. It has a simple start node and business initiative triage. These are the instructions for the node. You are the assistant that gathers all the key details. Basically, it looks for initial goal, target completion date, available resources, and current capacity. So if user provided all three of these, it will go ahead and evaluate the plan. Otherwise, it'll just say, I need more information. And I have a if else condition node. So if triage agent thinks, yes, I have all the information, the workflow will go through the launch helper. Otherwise, it'll go to the get data node. And for get data, we'll just say, hey, I don't have enough information to process your request. Please provide these to evaluate your business. This is a simple workflow. Let's see how it works. As I mentioned, you can click on the preview and then conversate with agent and see how it works, right? Let's start with the ideal scenario, right? Hey, I want to establish a bookstore. My capital is around $200,000 and I want to establish this business by December 2025. I'm doing this with one of my friends. So we're two people. It figured out all the information and it went to the launch helper. Basically, you can see it came up with the market research. Of course, it used the web search tool to come up with a market research, business plan development, location selection, and all the stuff I need to evaluate before starting the business. But now let's test the for condition. So let's click on the preview again and then ask something like, hey, could you help me evaluate my business? And like you see here, it figured out it doesn't have much information to evaluate. And then it went to the get data node. Get data node is something like, yeah, I would love to help, but I need these three things. But yeah, so this is a simple workflow I designed while exploring the agent builder. During the dev day, OpenAI also launched introducing apps in ChatGPT. So basically a new generation of apps you can chat with and the tools for developers to build them. So you can use Apps SDK to integrate your app inside the ChatGPT. So few of the apps already available in ChatGPT today: Booking.com, Canva, Coursera, Expedia, Figma, Spotify, and Zillow. Yeah, let's use some of these apps and see how it works in action. Now I am in ChatGPT. Let's start with Spotify and see if it can create a playlist for my weekend party. The thing is, I'm not going to mention the app name. I'll just ask it to create the playlist. Let's see if it can use the Spotify app to create the playlist. Hey chat, so I'm having a weekend party tonight. Could you please create a party playlist? All right, so it's connecting to an app. Cool. So it figured out it needs to use Spotify and then it's creating the playlist. So I think it's worth to mention here, already connected Spotify to ChatGPT. When you're using this for the first time, it will ask you to connect to your ChatGPT account. Cool. It came up with a party mix and then I can add it to my library. And if I click on one of this, of course, yeah, it's going to the Spotify. So you can't play songs from this ChatGPT yet. But yeah, that's Spotify. Let's check how Coursera works in here. All right, could you find me an agent building related courses in Coursera? Let's see how it works. All right, it's searching the web, didn't connect to my Coursera app. All right, so if I type Coursera, it's connecting to the Coursera app. find agent related courses in here. And now it connected to Coursera. So it worked for Spotify, but not for Coursera. Let's play this.
All right, so we were able to build our very first agent just now.
All right, let's forward a little bit and ask ChatGPT if it can explain what trainer is talking. Could you explain what the trainer is talking at this point? So it worked in the demo video. I don't know why it is not working here. Let's move on. Now let's use Zillow and see how it works. Could you find a 2-bed, 2-bath apartments in San Francisco? Oh, it didn't connect to Zillow, but it's suggesting me to connect to Zillow from here. Okay, let's see. Now it's connecting to the app. It's asking me to connect because I'm using Zillow for the first time. All right, it loaded. And of course, like you can zoom in, select different apartments. That is awesome. So they basically integrated entire Zillow app within the ChatGPT. This is awesome. Great job, Zillow. Sweet. That's how you can use apps in ChatGPT. All right, so that's my walkthrough of Agent Builder and apps inside ChatGPT from Dev Day. Starting from Agent Builder, honestly, it's a game changer. It's visual, approachable, and still powerful enough to build complex workflows. What really stands out is how easy it is to deploy agents in production. That's been a missing piece for a while. Everybody is building agents, but nobody is deploying into the production. Agent Builder bridges that gap beautifully. Marketing makes it easier to deploy your workflow or agent within your application. I'm definitely going to keep experimenting with it, building more complex workflows and pushing it a little further. And switching over to apps inside ChatGPT, this feels like a huge step toward making ChatGPT a super app. The idea is that you can do everything within the ChatGPT. Learn whatever you want within the ChatGPT using Coursera and shopping for your next house or apartment without leaving the app. It is definitely wild. Everything just happens right there within the context. This is definitely a massive shift in how people will use ChatGPT day by day. I'm excited about how fast this ecosystem grows. I'll definitely make another video about the agent builder once I build some complex workflows for my use case. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.